Or eerie orange haze caused by Canadian wildfires had many Americans indoor with air quality warnings, many asking about long-term effects of breathing unhealthy air. Now, a new study claims that the health effects of smoke from the Canadian wildfires are no worse than a bad pollen day. Experts say the numbers were no worse for your lungs during that time than other times when we've had heavy pollen in the air. So do we still need to be worried? Joining me now is Dr. Renee Matthews. She's a physician who has worked with asthma sufferers and has asthma herself. Dr. Renee, is this too good to be true, or are we not getting all of the information that we need?
So that study did not study diseases that were not affecting the lungs. So we still don't know about, we were told that the particulates that were in the air could cause clots that would affect the heart, right? So that is one thing that they did not mention in there. So perhaps perhaps the study is telling the truth that yes, it's no worse than a high pollen day, but we do still need to be careful for those people that have heart disease.
And I'm thinking not just heart disease, Dr. Renee, and trust me, I do not have a medical license, but I immediately think, what about those who are immunocompromised in other ways? That simply because one may not be affected by smoke because they don't really get affected by pollen, I have to believe that there can be other factors that could weigh in to one's safety.
Correct. So those that are immunocompromised need to be careful. I'm sure during high pollen days, during the orange haze, as they called it. So they need to be careful, period. And not to mention those particulates, we still, like I said, we don't know the lasting effects of those because this is the first time anything like this has happened.
And Dr. Renee, we know that many of the fires in Canada continue to burn, even though the wind is not blowing into our area now. We know what that looked like. There's another study from Yale that suggests wildfire smoke could actually be very damaging to the heart, like you touched upon. So what are people at home supposed to believe, particularly those who may have heart issues right now?
I would be very careful and still go to those websites that we talked about before where you can check the air quality. Even now, a lot of the cell phones have apps that have been, incorporated into their weather app and tell you the air quality. So you can check it on a daily basis and still turn your air conditioner on when you get in the car. Try not to have the windows down if you think it's a high air quality day.
Renee, you know how this goes. I've had conversations with friends or family members. You go to church, you speak to some of the people. Hey, Sister So-and-so, did you hear about such and such? Child, there's always something. These studies come out every time, and they're always doing something. So what are people
supposed to do? Well, that's the great thing about science. Science is ever evolving, right?
I love that. So, Dr. Renee, go on, carry on with that, because what you're about to say is, yeah, Nick, it may conflict sometimes. Studies don't always line up. People tune out experts giving warnings to their health, but you're saying don't tune it out.
Don't tune it out. Doctors, we're not perfect. We don't know everything. We don't have all the answers, but that's the thing, that science is always changing. So you do want to keep up with what's going on because things are changing all the time. So right now, this is what, has come out, but we don't know what could happen. And the orange haze, it also said in that study that they had a number of asthmatics that were going to the hospital and having emergencies. Asthma can often be brought on by different emotions. So if you saw orange haze and you have bad breathing issues, you might start to feel anxious in some way, and that might cause you to have an asthma attack. So that could also drive up those numbers. So like I said, you just have to keep listening and, do what's best for you and your family.
And Dr. Renee, some people experience the orange haze, but many parts of the country, like Hawaii, were dealing with other kinds of smoke effects. So their concerns are also there as well. What should they be thinking about as they continue to try to manage their recovery? Hawaii, California, and more, recovering from wildfires that have hit parks in different parts of the air quality.
So according to our friends at the American Lung Association, these are the things that you should definitely look for, think about with bad air quality: premature death, asthma attacks, cardiovascular disease, susceptibility to infections, worsening COPD symptoms, lung tissue swelling and irritation, developmental damage. So that is if someone is pregnant, developmental damage in their child, or if the child inhales the bad air quality, they may have developmental damage, and coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. So those are just some of the things. And of course, like I said, science is always evolving. So these are not the only things, but these are the things currently the American Lung Association tells us.
Dr. Renee Matthews, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.